What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report for Tuesday, March 17th, 2015, delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to our page. I want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. Robert Durst couldn't explain away the similarities between his handwriting and the letter he said, quote, only the killer could have written that alerted police to his friend's shooting 15 years ago. Confronted with new evidence by the makers of the HBO documentary about his life, the troubled millionaire blinked, burped oddly, and pulled his ears and briefly put his head in his hands before denying he was the killer. Then he stepped away from the tense interview and went to the bathroom, still wearing the live microphone that recorded what he said next. There it is, you're caught, Durst whispered to himself before running the tap water. What the hell did I do? Kill them all, of course. That moment didn't just make for a captivating finale to the 6-part documentary on the eccentric life of an heir to a New York real estate fortune. It may also have given police and prosecutors the evidence they needed to close the long, cold case of a mobster's daughter. Susan Berman was felled by a bullet to the back of her head as investigators prepared to find out what she knew about the disappearance of Durst's wife in 1982. Los Angeles prosecutors filed a first-degree charge against Durst on Monday that could trigger the death penalty. In Louisiana, Durst was rebooked on charges of being a convicted felon in the possession of a firearm and possession of a weapon with a controlled dangerous substance, a small amount of marijuana. Authorities didn't immediately know whether the prosecutors would try to keep Durst in Louisiana on those charges before he is sent to Los Angeles. The charges came after 2 years of investigation alleged he laid in wait with a gun and murdered a witness, special circumstances that could carry a death sentence if prosecutors decide later to pursue it. Durst, who's 71, who was arrested at a New Orleans hotel on the eve of Sunday's final episode, agreed Monday to face trial for the murder of Berman, who had vouched for him in public after his wife vanished. The makers of the Jinx, The Life and Deaths of Robert Durst, said Durst had waved off his lawyer's advice to stay quiet before granting them 2 lengthy interviews. They also said he knew he was being recorded throughout and that they shared any evidence they gathered with police long before broadcasting the film on HBO. Andrea Roth, a law professor at the University of California, Berkeley, said any statements that the defendants make that they want to use against him, they can use against him, even if it's sketchy and only in contents appears to make him look guilty. Carrie Lawrence, a defense attorney in Westchester County, New York, said Durst's lawyers will have to try and explain away his comments, perhaps dismissing them as a joke. The documentary showed filmmaker Andrew Jarecki confronting Durst with a copy of an anonymous letter that alerted Beverly Hills police to go look for a cadaver at Berman's address. Durst offered that whoever sent it was taking a big risk. You're sending a letter to the police that only the killer could have written. Then in the final episodes, Jarecki revealed another envelope which Durst acknowledged mailing to Berman that has similar writings in block letters and also misspelled the address as Beverly, which is Beverley. Durst said, I wrote this one, but I did not write the cadaver one. But when shown an enlargement of both copies, Durst couldn't distinguish them. From Westchester County prosecutor Janine Perio seemed stunned when the filmmakers showed her Durst's previously unknown letter to Berman saying the jig is up. She believes it was her reopening of the case into Kathleen Durst's 1982 disappearance that provoked the murder of Berman, who had been Durst's confidant. Now she says his own words can convict him. Pirro told Fox's Good Day New York it was a spontaneous statement, a classical exception to the hearsay rule. I didn't hear it as a muttering. I heard it as a clear, unequivocal, I killed him. That means he killed his wife, he killed Susan Berman, and he killed Morris Black. Durst, who's worth millions despite his arrangement from his family, whose New York real estate empire is worth about $4 billion, has maintained his innocence in 3 killings in as many states. Oprah Winfrey is getting ready to clear out of Chicago with an auction. The media mogul, who's transitioning her Harper Studios company productions to own headquarters in Los Angeles, is offering her personal belongings for sale at an auction. Leslie Hindman Auctioneers will conduct the auction on April 25th in Leslie Hindman Auctioneers Chicago Sales Room with a preview spanning April 16th to the 24th. The proceeds will benefit the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy Foundation, supporting the continued education of students from the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. South Africa, as they continue their education at universities in South Africa and the U.S. The auction includes over 500 lots, mostly from Winfrey's Water Tower apartments, and includes English, French, and continental features and furniture and decorative arts, paintings, prints, drawings, porcelains, crystals, silver, memorabilia, clothing, and accessories. Leslie Hindman, the founder of Leslie Hindman Auctioneers, said Oprah's acumen as a media icon and businesswoman has been an inspiration for millions. Perhaps even more inspiring is her dedication to altruistic endeavors built on the foundation of sharing her success to better the lives of others. On a more personal level, I've long revered Miss Winfrey as a collector. I once met Miss Winfrey in 2003, and we discussed my perspectives and advice regarding collecting. It was immediately evident that she had extensive market knowledge and had made it a priority to form relationships with dealers, collectors, and industry contacts to make informed decisions regarding acquisitions. Film and television producer Ryan Murphy is speaking out on the growing controversy surrounding comments made by fashion moguls Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana about gay adoption and in vitro fertilization. He's promising not to buy Dolce & Gabbana clothing or use any of his productions or use it in any of his productions, and he is urging others in Hollywood to do the same. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Murphy, who is the executive producer of American Horror Story and Glee, and the director of the HBO film The Normal Heart, who has 2 children with husband David Miller, says he's outraged by the designer's opposition to in vitro fertilization and same-sex adoption, and is joining the burgeoning boycott against the label's clothes. He also compares the situation to the Hollywood lead boycott of the Beverly Hills Hotel in opposition to the anti-gay policies of his owners, the Sultan of Brunei. Murphy says, "This is not just a gay issue. I know 10 women in my life who use IVF to conceive, and 3 doing it right now. IVF is a scientific miracle that helps loving families fulfill their dreams. To tell them their choices as women, anyone's choices on family, are not embraced, well, I don't think they'll be typecasting off to a Dolce Gabbana store to buy clothes anytime soon." Murphy also predicts the comments will reverberate throughout the gay community, which has, quote, always embraced their clothes. It's so ignorant of Dolce & Gabbana to speak out with such ugly evil. What they say is not a modern thing to say. There are all kinds of families today. In the Italian magazine Panorama, Dolce & Gabbana, a one-time couple, made several controversial comments on the subject of non-traditional families. Dolce said he thought the children born via IVF were synthetic, from wombs for rent, and the only family is the traditional one. Life has a natural flow. There are things that should not be changed. One is family. The remarks drew an immediate response from Elton John, who has 2 children with husband David Furnish. John took to Twitter on Sunday to start a, quote, boycott Dolce & Gabbana campaign, which pop star Ricky Martin soon joined. On Monday, the movement was gaining steam on social media. Murphy says he will urge others in Hollywood to join the boycott and will take the Dolce & Gabbana clothes lined up for his characters' wardrobes and put them in the trash or return them. He also referred to a 2006 article from an Italian newspaper in which Gabbana was quoted saying, quote, "My dream is to have a baby. I want my own child, biological child, the fruit of my sperm, conceived through an artificial insemination because it wouldn't make sense for me to make love to a woman I don't love." Murphy told The Hollywood Reporter he's a hypocrite, and that to sell the image of the family in their ads, campaigns, and recent fashion shows on top of that is pure hypocrisy. There will be crickets going through Dolce & Gabbana stores soon, just like there has been at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Don't use family in your advertising as a gimmick. It's their prerogative to speak out, and it's my prerogative not to use any of their clothes on my show or buy them for myself either. On the heels of the big opening of Disney's Cinderella this past weekend, Disney has dated its live-action fairy tale retelling Beauty and the Beast for March 17, 2017. Emma Watson is starring as Belle, while Dan Stevens will play the Prince Beast. Luke Evans will play the role of Gaston. Emma Thompson has joined the cast as Mrs. Pott, and Kevin Kline as Belle's father, Maurice. Production on the project will include some of CG Magic will kick off in May at the Shepperton Studios in London. Bill Condon is directing from a script by Stephen Chbosky with an earlier version by Evan Stephanopoulos. Mandeville Films' David Harbourman and Todd Lieberman are producing. Alan Menken, who won 2 Academy Awards for the 1991 animated classic, will score the film, which will feature new recordings of the original songs in addition to several new songs written by Menken and Sir Tim Rice. Disney's live-action Cinderella starring Lily James opened to $70 million domestically this past weekend. Arrow's ready to tackle a key part of DC Comics lore. The Lazarus Pit and other supernatural elements will be explored on Wednesday's episode, a potentially game-changing move that executive producer Mark Guggenheim says is akin to Season 2's introduction to superpowers. Wednesday's episode finds Oliver, played by Stephen Amell, considering the Ra Al Ghul's, played by Matt Nable, offered to take over the League of Assassins. As Oliver mules to offer, viewers will learn more about some of the supernatural aspects surrounding Ra's in his headquarters in Nanda Parbat. In the comics, Raz rejuvenates himself via the Lazarus Pit, a pool that has restorative powers and can even bring people back from the dead. Viewers have seen glimpses of Raz in yet-to-be-named pit. Fans even speculate Oliver will be brought back from the dead using the Lazarus Pit when it appears he died in mid-season finale. Legendary Broadway songwriter Stephen Sondheim's partner might crawl a mile to see Lady Gaga perform, but the 84-year-old veteran composer isn't so impressed. Sondheim panned Gaga's The Sound of Music melody performance at the Oscars, speaking to the Times in an article that ran last week. Though his 36-year-old partner Jeff Romley might be Gaga for Gaga, Sondheim says he, quote, doesn't share his taste for contemporary pop music. He told the British newspaper on the Academy Awards she was a travesty. It was ridiculous, as if it would be from any singer who treats that music in semi-operatic style. She had no relationship to what she was singing. What people liked was her versatility. Gaga's performance was largely well received, perhaps most notable by the 1965 film's star Julie Andrews. She told Billboard, I've always been a fan, but she just knocked it out of the ballpark that night. I was thrilled by her, and for her, I thought it was so lovely. Kanye West recently performed all day at the Brit Awards in London, giving the song its live debut. Now, organizers have announced that he will return to England to be among the headliners of the Glastonbury Festival this summer. West will be the headline performer for the event's Saturday lineup on the festival's famous Pyramid stage. Friday's lineup will be led by the Food Fighters, with Sunday's headliner yet to be announced. The festival this year runs from June 24th to the 28th. In 2008, Jay-Z became the first hip-hop artist to headline the Glastonbury. Back then, some had their doubts about a non-rock headliner, but his set ended up drawing positive reviews. Reaction to West's appearance proved the controversial star's ability at causing social media debate. Early reactions tweeted from, "Woo, see you at Glastonbury, Kanye," to "Kanye heading Glastonbury? That's horrific." Said on a Twitter user, "Can't imagine people's disappointment at Kanye West doing Glastonbury. After all, there are only 15 other stages to choose from at that time." Madonna's appearance on the Howard Stern Show on Sirius XM last week came with plenty, if revelations, from dating Tupac Shakur to her own rape many years ago. But there was one thing that really stuck out to the mayor of her hometown, Rochester Hills, Michigan. The pop icon said that the Detroit suburbs was not a place she'd like to come back, and called the citizens, quote, basic, providential thinking people. Now Mayor Brian Barnett has released an open letter defending his city. He wrote, I don't know what experiences led you to that opinion, but let me assure you, our community is anything but basic or narrow-minded. In fact, we are and have been home to some of the brightest minds shaping our world. He wrote, citing top-performing schools, growing universities, and more than 900 patents granted in the city over the past 3 years. Barnett also states that the city of 71,000 buildings and designs more robots than any other city in North America, and includes a variety of cultures. It's enough to have landed the town at number 9 on Money Magazine's top 10 of the best places to live in the United States. Barnett told Local 4 to espouse that the people of our community are, as she suggested, simple or basic, I think is just misguided. In the end, Barnett invited Madonna back to Rochester Hill to see who we are and what we believe in. He continued, "While we certainly do not need your stamp of approval, I am quite confident we would earn it." And finally, Justin Bieber's Comedy Central roast will not include jokes about late actor Paul Walker, a spokesperson for the channel told The Hollywood Reporter. A spokesperson stated, "Roasts often push the limits of good taste, and we give the participants full rein to try things, knowing we have the edit to shape the show. Sometimes the line is discovered by crossing it. The Paul Walker references will not be in the telecast." Of all the knee-slapping, jaw-dropping moments at the March 14th taping, the show airs March 30th in Culver City. Those about the Fast and the Furious star who died November 30th, 2013 in a car crash landed with a thud. After the show, a source told The Hollywood Reporter rapper Ludacris was incensed, and no wonder, he and Walker were friends and cast members of the Furious films. Among the jokes, comedian Jeffrey Ross connected Bieber's driving skills to those of Walker's, cracking "Move, bitch, get out of your way" is what Paul Walker should have told the tree. Too soon, too fast, too furious. A visibly offended Ludacris even motioned to cut at one point during the taping. Ross deflected when the Hollywood Reporter asked about after the roast if the Walker jokes went too far. "I was so in the moment, I don't know what jokes hit," he responded. And as your entertainment report for Tuesday, March 17th, 2015, I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. Follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter @The Enter Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of the show on iHeartRadio. Just search for The Entertainment Report and it'll take you to our page. Have a great day, everybody. I will see you tomorrow, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Bye.